I'm getting there, guys. Don't worry. Hold on a second. I'm over here somewhere. Hold on, because I really don't know what I'm still doing here. Hi. Just I'm an idiot. I seriously I don't know what I'm doing. But I'm trying. I'm trying. It's hi everybody. You know what day it is? It's Wednesday, the early bird special. Gosh, I wish I could order an early bird special right now. Wouldn't it be fun to just be sitting in a diner right now, drinking coffee and ordering the pancakes at 4 o'clock and saying, "I'm sorry, I have to wait till 4 because it's only $1.99 when I have this, so I want it now." I'm Carol Montgomery. I hope you guys are doing well. We are in day 4,000,000,002 of lockdown in New York City. They've opened up everything but New York City and Long Island and Westchester. So we're screwed pretty much for the next I don't know when. I have no idea. I can tell you that my husband and I went for a walk early this morning, and we saw our first traffic jam in New York City, and it brought tears to our eyes. It was beautiful. It was traffic. And then we bumped into a couple of tourists. So we're back. I can't wait till it really does do that, because my husband misses smacking into tourists that keep looking at buildings. Anyway, I'm rambling because I had a drink before I started. It's really good. I recommend, if you want, just take a shot of this. Is that right? Can you see it? Yep. Take a shot of this. Put a little lime in it. Down it like tequila. You'll feel great. So I could be dead at any moment. I'm going to bring on my dear friend and my co-host, who we have been having. You know what? She inspires me because I wing the show by myself. And she comes literally every the day of the thing. She's like, "Why don't we open and do this?" And I'm like, "Wow, you're actually planning." So let me bring it back, everybody. Here's Julia Scotti. Hey!
Yay! I didn't plan anything today. No, wait.
No, you always do that. You send me stuff, and I say to Todd that, "God damn it, I don't do anything. You always like, hey, I have an idea. Let's do this." And I'm like, okay. So
I got to thinking. I mean, we're on all over the world. Did you know that? I mean, we're not just limited to the metropolitan area.
No, we are not.
But we're on at different times.
Right.
Because of the time change.
Yes.
In some places, we're on tomorrow, even though we're on live. We're traveling through time.
Wow.
Well, we're on in Tierra del Fuego. We're on there. That's it. It's an hour later there, believe it or not.
Well, where is Tierra del Fuego?
Tierra del Fuego is at the very tip of South America, Sud America, Argentina. Yeah, at the very tip. Yep.
Wow, you actually did your homework. Okay,
I did, All right,
keep going.
We're on London 4 hours from now, even though it's live now.
Cheerio.
It's 8 o'clock at night, so we're in prime time. We're in Hanoi.
Nice.
Yeah, which is 10 hours difference. It's 10 hours later there.
I did not.
And we are in. Here's what I liked. Andorra la Vella, which was my stripper name for many years. Andorra la Vella. It's 5 hours later there, and Andorra la Vella.
And where is Andorra la Vella?
That's in the Pyrenees Mountains in Central Europe. And finally, Pretoria, South Africa. It's 5 years. 5 years. Well, it is 5 years. 5 hours later. So.
And here in America, it's 20 years backwards. So we're in good shape.
Yeah.
Good shape. How are you holding up, my dear?
I'm doing all right. I thought I had the corona last night. I was.
Oh no!
I had like a fever, like slight fever, and I was shaking. And I think what it is allergies. We get that green crap that comes down every year. I don't know if you get it in there, but it kicks my ass, man. It's just like the flu, and I feel a lot better today. So.
Yeah, I know. It's so interesting because any symptom now that you get, you immediately think, "Oh, holy shit!"
Oh yeah,
I have it. my husband's best friend said he was feeling horrible last week, and so he went and got tested. Thank God it turns out it was not COVID. But that's going to be our new way of life, like anything.
It's like when I used to smoke. Every time I'd cough, I go, oh, I got cancer. Cancer.
Yeah, exactly.
So go right to cancer.
Yeah, of course, you go 0 to death. That's always what we do because we're such fatalists. Yeah. But like I think it's allergies because my husband has bad allergies and I've started to have allergies, and like every morning, and this is how I'm sure the audience really wants to hear this. When I blow my nose,
do in Hanoi. They want to hear this. Yeah.
When I blow my nose, I literally wait because it will, I have to blow it like 2 or 3 times, but then a gigantic clump of something comes out of my right nostril. It's never my left nostril because this is where
do this. You could
and it's this gigantic thing, and I look at it, and I look at my snot now.
I look at them too. Yeah.
So I look at my snot. I look at my shit. This is what happens, ladies.
Wait, we just lost Sierra Del.
I mentioned my shit. I get it.
Oh, I look at mine too. I mean, sometimes I'll comment on it. I'll go, that's tremendous.
Yeah, I mean, I look forward to the giant clump of snot that's coming out of my nose. This is what's happening to us in lockdown.
What has become of us?
Oh my God. So anyway, let's bring on our special guest.
Yes.
Because we have both known Rhonda for.
We'll ask her if she looks at hers too.
Yeah, I'm sure she does. I'm sure because we're of a certain age. Rhonda is an actress, a writer, a director, a political pundit. I mean, we love her. We both known her for many, many years, and she's going to give us. So her new thing is she's posting these pictures of this amazing food.
Oh my God! Did you see that the other day?
I know, and I'm like, you got to give us the recipe. So we'll talk about that. So everyone, welcome to Early Bird Special, Rhonda Handsome.
Hi,
ladies.
Oh my God!
She's still stunning. I look in the mirror and I look like Shagundal. I look like one of those Apple dolls that are all shriveled up. And look at her.
You're beautiful, darling.
You're just saying that.
Meanwhile, I'm talking about the snot. Now I feel one of those glumps coming ready for my nose, and I don't have any. I'm gonna.
If we had a commercial, we could go.
Well, no, actually, if I blow on it, and I'm going to show you guys because I'm so proud.
Oh well, I'm counting the moments to that.
I want to get a screenshot of that, Carol.
Yes. So one of our fabulous fans said, "I think I'll pass on lunch right now." So, Rhonda, how are you holding up, sweetheart?
Fabulous, absolutely fabulous. I was out rollerblading yesterday. I'm cooking up a storm. Not all of my clothes don't fit me anymore because of everything that I'm cooking. I'm having a really great time. I'm zooming, and now this is my first time being on, what is this, StreamYard?
StreamYard, yes.
Yeah, I'm zooming all over. I'm StreamYarding. I'm going to be live next week. I mean, this is the best. Lockdown was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Wow, you are making lemonade, baby. It's just like.
I am. I actually have started with cartoons. I don't know if you can see this.
Oh,
yeah. I saw it.
I didn't know you drew.
I don't draw. I'm the writer, and
okay.
My good friend, the art of Scott W, does this fantastic drawing in pen and ink. And we're doing political cartoons. I mean, it's a collaboration that just came about in the past 2 weeks. I love it. I love it. I have all of this time to think and be creative. I really feel very creative now.
Let me ask you a question about, if you don't mind, I just want to pick her brain about the comic. Because I was doing.
Oh, yeah.
I was doing one with John Poveromo, who you might know.
I remember.
Gifted artist. Yeah, and we did. And I do this column periodically called Jesus at the Wawa. Where I run into Jesus at like a fast food.
I've read about your encounter with him.
We tried to do it as a strip, but it was so tiny. Are you doing just one panel?
Yeah, it's right now. That's what we're doing. Just this one that says Trump is America's cheerleader, and you see all the bodies that.
Oh, that's great.
But
That's
Yeah, I've
great.
seen it. It's wonderful. It's
he's
wonderful.
really fabulous, and people can see it better on Instagram or on my Facebook page, Rhonda Handsome Comedy.
Hi, Sonny.
Hi, Sonny.
Sonny is one of my when I was was it South Korea? I think it was South Korea when we went over to do a tour over there, and he was one of our chaperones. He's a great guy. I think it was South Korea. Say hi. We love you guys. We love the troops.
I had a great time when I did that as well. But being in South Korea was really an unusual experience there.
Yeah. Did you go over there for the troops?
Yes. I have a medal. I have the medal to prove it.
Yeah, I have tons of the coins that you guys get. I forget what they're called. It's some kind. Every soldier gets these coins, and you're supposed, like, if you have the coin and you go into a bar, and somebody shakes your hand and you don't have the coin in your hand, you have to buy everybody a round of drinks. So it was the DMZ. Oh, thank you, Sonny. Because I always forget. The greatest thing about being in the DMZ, Rhonda, did you get to see the DMZ?
I went wherever they told us to go because that's what I was told. Ask no questions and do exactly as you're told.
Well, so when you get to the DMZ, right? It's so funny, and so the North Korean show. Thank you, Sonny just told me it's the challenge coin. Because I'm an idiot and I can't remember this shit.
Oh, we're gonna just fire you and put Sonny on. He knows all about
he
this
knows all
stuff.
about this shit. But so we were waiting to go in because you get to go into the room, the actual DMZ room where they it's technically the room is North Korea and South Korea, and all these North Korean soldiers come out and they look at who's there and they take photos. And I was like, there was a bunch of dignitaries ahead of us. I'm like, those are the people we're just comics. What the fuck are you taking pictures of the comedians for?
So they weren't taking like tourist shots.
No, they were not taking tourist shots.
Okay.
But they had to have a guard, and this is really interesting. They had to have there were guards. You go in and they lock the doors on both sides because there had been times where the North Koreans would open up their door and try to pull the person into North Korea.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Did they? You would think it would go the other way, that they just right.
They're
mouthing the word "help me," just.
And my dad was a Korean War veteran, so even though I know Sonny's going to laugh at this, but even though you weren't supposed to like make any, you're just supposed to go and look and everything. When we got to the place where I think he had actually been shot, I flipped off because I knew there were cameras somewhere, and I was flipping off North Korea, and they were all like, "You can't do that." I'm like, "I already fucking did it." I was like, "Fuck you, North Korea." So
you know something, Carol? Kim Jong-un hadn't been seen for over 20 days, and I realized what he was doing.
What?
He was doing a pilot for his Dictator Pranks show.
Yeah, and Sonny is saying he's saying, "Oh yeah, she flipped them off. That was me." Yeah, that's great. The dictator. Who else would be on that show? The Dictator. Wow.
Well, I could think of another dictator that.
Yeah, well, let's not. We're going to keep it light.
We're
keeping it light. So, Rhonda,
fight with me. You know that I do all of this political stuff. In fact, people are always telling me that I should run for office because I always have all these opinions about politics. But I'll tell you, Carol, with my questionable background and my spotty history, I would only be able to run as a Republican.
But you know what? She brings up a good point. There was a time in this country when political humor was not only everywhere, but it was popular.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd find it in clubs. I mean, we can go down a list of people who did political humor, but and somewhere along the way,
like Gregory, Mort Saul, yes, they were very popular.
And somewhere along the way, it just went in the crapper, and I don't know what happened.
Who was the guy that used to imitate Kennedy? Was it
Vaughn Meader?
Vaughn Meader, and of course, now a joke like of course, the Lenny Bruce joke about that, right? You know what happened?
Oh, about she's hauling ass.
No, the joke that Lenny Bruce said after JFK got shot, he goes, "Well, there goes Vaughn Meade's career."
Oh yeah, Vaughn Meader, yeah. It did.
It did, but you know that type. That first of all, what a great fucking joke that is, and how fucking brutal is that joke? But it's a joke, and that's the problem we have right now. Is there's no sense of humor in this country anymore, on either side, because everyone just, you know, could you imagine Lenny Bruce, Pryor, Mitch Hedberg, they couldn't do anything now, I think, because I think they would be brutalized by the press.
Yeah, and do you think, you know, even if the audiences were warned, which I hate to even say that, you know, what to expect during the show, you know, it's a political show, you know, so expect the word. But I don't think they could control themselves. You know, everybody's got an agenda.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead, Rhonda.
Well, that's why I like the Zoom shows and the online shows, because if they're going crazy, they don't like what I'm saying. I can't hear it anyway. So you know, like have you heard about Susan Pompeo? She's been sending like the Secret Service out to like pick up her dog.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Delivery, her dry cleaning, but the people in the agency won't say anything except when they were asked about it. All they would say was her code name was Lady Macbeth.
Hey, did you speak of related, sort of related? Did you see Tiffany Trump graduated law school? She got
yes, and her father needs another lawyer.
Right.
Yeah.
None of the rest of the family will talk to her now because she went to the other side.
Yeah. Getting back to Julia, what you were saying about warning the audience. You know, I'm a big. If we get to that point, it would bother me if we had to say, now we're going to do something that might, like I've had shows where I've gone in and I see there's a sign that says, you know, this is, you know, adult material, you know, but if you start saying, well, you know, this person's going to talk about this or this person's going to talk about that, you can't do that. You just can't. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I have to tell you, I had this really big job opening for a person who at the time was a big star. And I fly into, I guess it was either Tahoe or Vegas. And the first call I get is from this, you know, big time male comic going, I hope you're not going to do any of that female stuff.
You told me this story.
Wow.
Like, what the hell am I supposed to talk about? And what do you mean, none of that female stuff? You know, and Carol, you're right. We cannot start telling people that, you know, that not to listen or to censor them. That's right. The thing that's exciting about being in a comedy club, because every comic who gets up, who has a voice, has something different to say. They're presenting themselves, their point of view, their what they think is absurd in the world, and that's what's exciting. There's going to be like 12 people on that night. You don't like the third one, you'll like the fifth one, you know?
Absolutely. Like I always talk about this story, you know, and I like Andrew very much. I like Dice, you know, I know him personally, but I mean, I haven't seen him in years, but I think the biggest thing that he did that made me not respect him anymore was the fact that he turned around and apologized on Arsenio for when that whole thing that happened on SNL where it was a long time ago, but he was on Arsenio and he apologized and said, you know, it's just a joke and I'm a character. And I was like, Andrew, why would you do that? The whole character is this larger than life, you know, balls to the wall guy. And now you just basically, you know, taking that away. And look, it hasn't. He's still touring and he's doing very well now. But there was a point where it was like, don't apologize. I'm really a believer in that. You don't like my material, okay, then leave. But
I'm with Andrew Dice Clay. When I was out in Los Angeles, I had to follow him at the Comedy Store, and I'll tell you, the first thing I said, I couldn't believe that I had to start where he left off. Mm-hmm. And it was unbelievable. I don't know what came over me. I just said, well, I was online at the bank and I was blowing this guy. And
but let me ask you a question.
That's where he had left the audience.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So Julia,
we all self-edit while we're on stage. At least I do. I don't know about you guys. Do you self-edit? I mean, like if you hear something in your head you make that decision whether or not to say it or not say it. But I think that's just a question of a good artist. The point I'm trying to make is, why are we stopping with the political stuff? Why aren't we doing it? Is it because we're afraid of not having a career? Are we afraid of the ramifications of that?
I don't think that's the case. I think that right now this country is so divided. That you're going to lose half your audience.
But should that affect us?
You're saying right now, from my point of view, the country has always been divided. I mean, Meghan McCain on The View the other day was saying that this division came in with Obama, which was really crazy because Obama was a uniter. Mm-hmm. He was not a divider. This country has always been divided. It has a history of division. And within that history, we have had people who stand up and they say what needs to be said, especially with the humor. So I don't accept it. I think, we just have to keep on pushing.
But with the exception of Chappelle and maybe Chris Rock and a couple other people, you very rarely see people actually taking that stand.
I understand what you're saying, Julia, and that's because people are not informed. You'll be talking about a joke, but if somebody hasn't read about Susan Pompeo or doesn't know about the hydroxychloroquine, then it's not going to matter to them. And so there's a large portion of the audience that has actually been dumbed down, and are not aware of certain things. For political material to be well received, people have to be aware, because if you have to explain, the whole setup, you don't have time for the joke. The punchline gets lost.
Right, but what I think what Julia is saying is there's not as But when I was growing up, it was Carlin and it was Pryor, and then there were some other ones, but those are the ones I always look for, and they didn't care, like both Carlin. And a lot of people who are watching may not know this, but both Carlin and Pryor were what I call suit and tie comics when they first started out. They both were very trying to do that. Hey, what I guess it was pre-Seinfeld, but that type of. The funny thing is, and both of them decided, oh, I don't want to do this shit. I want to jump off the ledge and become, and really use my words to become, what they became. I don't know if there's anyone, like you said, there's a Chappelle or Chris Rock. Rhonda, you do it beautifully. Of course, your political material. Fugelsang does it, but I think people are, whether it's right or wrong, I think people are afraid to do that because they're afraid somehow that it is going to ruin their career. Do you know what I mean?
Well, my career's already in the toilet. So
yeah. So there you go. There you go. But like, for example, like I have, and please don't, I have one of my closest friends is he left the Republican Party, but he's very conservative and he's very to the right. And his stand-up, his stand-up has nothing to do with politics. It's just him being a single dad, and so. And we never talk politics because we were like, we've known each other too long. We are never going to convince the other one of our point of view. So
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to that. So when I watch him, I don't go to him and go, I'm going to watch him because he's a conservative comic. He's just doing his comedy. So, on both sides, I think they're afraid to really show who they are because they're afraid, we're all still struggling here. So, do you know what I mean?
That was my point. There's no room anymore for diverse thought.
Right.
You're either one or the other,
Well, I'm going to have to agree to disagree with you ladies. I feel so fortunate that every Monday I have a chance to do John Fugelsang's show on Sirius XM, about 11:15 every Monday. I get a chance to say what I feel politically.
But that's great.
And and for me, I enjoy comedians. Well, I love comedians, and I laugh at comedians. A lot of people when they're a lot of comics when they're watching a fellow comic, they don't laugh. They even if they like something, they'll analyze it and that's funny, or they'll get upset and jealous and go, oh, I wish I wrote that. But I laugh at all comics, no matter what they're, conservative or progressive. I laugh long, I laugh hard, and I don't just laugh at the punchline. I laugh at the premise because it screws with their timing. And I enjoy it. I enjoy comedy no matter where it's coming from, as long as I don't feel it's hate-fueled and punching down.
Right.
So,
But again, all right, so that contradicts though what you were saying, or I think it was you that was saying earlier that you're a comic, you shouldn't worry about those things.
Right.
I'm not worried about it. For me, I'm looking at it from the point of an audience of listening to someone. If it's punching down or racist and hate-fueled, I will hold my applause and wait for the next comedian.
Are you open to having your mind changed?
And that's when you're in the audience.
I said, are you open to having your mind changed? I find that it's difficult for me sometimes. I have to stop and go, all right, this person's telling me something for a reason. I don't want to just hear myself talk. I want to hear what they have to say.
Hearing things that are different from what I believe, because it gives me a chance to analyze myself and to consider my position on things. I'm open. I want to hear. I am definitely open. But I don't think you're going to get me to carry a tiki torch and a Nazi swastika.
No, I don't see you doing that.
But Rhonda, the lighting from the tiki torch would make you look so beautiful. But I have to tell you this, because you mentioned the thing about racist and hateful stuff. So when I was bringing up my son, and everyone knows this about me now, we lived in Vegas, and so Vegas there's just all types of people. Like, off topic quickly, we Lane was friends with somebody in the first grade who they I don't know what kind of Christians they were, but I just remember that that Lane came home one day and said to me, Mommy, and I forgot what his name is, let's say Bobby. Bobby said that I killed Jesus because I'm Jewish. I went, okay, you're never going over there again. And but one of the things that we did when we were bringing up Lane, and we always had kids over the house. I mean, like tons of kids, Little League. The rule in the house was they were allowed to say, they could curse, they could say fuck, and they could say shit. But if it was racist or saying the word for just saying it, gone, literally gone. And I remember one time this kid started telling me a joke that I don't remember what it was, but I remember as soon as he said, so these three guys, and I went, all right, here we go. And I stopped the car, and we were like driving to a game. I said, get out. And he went, what? I said, no racism, no hateful. So, I mean, that's been ingrained in Lane since he was a little boy, because, and that's always what's so funny about especially me, because I've always been, considered a dirty comic. And it's just because I curse, it's like, we're, like I always say this, I came from Brooklyn, fuck's an adjective back there.
And a noun.
And a noun.
It's funny how you say that, because, I used to work the Catskills all the time. And Joan Rivers was considered a dirty comic because she might say damn or fuck once.
Right.
And that's my point. Like, people have a different level of sensibility, a different threshold. And you have to, like you say, Julia, be open. And if one time she says fuck, the people in the Catskills would get up and walk out. And that was how they decided if they would have you back.
Right.
People walked out on your act.
I had a woman walk out on my act in Florida, and I didn't know she walked out until the next morning. And she came over. I was having breakfast in the hotel, and she was an African-American woman, about my age, I guess. And she goes, I was at your show last night. I go, oh, well, did you enjoy it? She goes, no, my husband and I walked out. I was like, oh my God, what did I say to offend you? She goes, you didn't say anything, but I am a pastor, and my husband is a bishop. And I was like, oh, brother, here we go. So I invited her to sit down. I said, let's talk about this. And to her credit, we spent an hour going back and forth about, and I made my point. Just because your God's saying I'm a sinner, I don't have to subscribe to what you believe. So just leave me the fuck alone.
You said that?
Oh, in a way.
I bet you her idea about you was different after you had that very nice discussion.
I think so too. And I said to her, she left, we shook hands, and I said, well, we agree to disagree. She goes, I'll pray for you. I go, you know what? Find somebody else, because I'm in pretty good shape,
But the thing is, especially because both of them are clergy, it really would have been good for them to at least listen to what you had to say during your act, instead of feeling like, they have to make this grand gesture. And
the bishop walked out. He wouldn't even come
Wow.
eat. He wouldn't even come eat breakfast with me.
Wow.
No,
I have to just show you this is from the gentleman that co-produced our special. This is what he says about me. Thanks, Dave. Go fuck yourself.
Oh, that's
okay.
Funny.
But
who doesn't, Dave? We all talk about you.
Come on, Dave. That's my whole thing. That's my bit, the jizz bit.
Jizz face. She's jizz face. That's what we call her in the green room.
That's my stripper name. So anyway, so we went off topic. So
okay.
The first thing we have to do is we do the joke, or we do we ask the same question that we ask every guest. Julia, would you like to ask the question?
Yeah, sure. Which Cuomo would you sleep with? Mario, Andrew, or Chris? And why?
Oh my gosh. Well, I would have Chris and Andrew double team me.
Whoa! But look at our rating. The people in Vietnam just went, what? Tierra del Fuego's going wild. That's great.
Well, hey, you know what? Okay, let's talk about food, but I do want to, if anyone, let me just get to the banners because I'm doing this shit myself. Anyone has any questions? But we have to talk about Rhonda and her food. What the hell? That black eyed pea thing? That looked so amazing.
It was delicious, and I had so much fun creating it. And I started with soaking the peas, from dried peas.
Oh, you're old school. Oh man.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I used to love to watch my mother cook, and I find I enjoy it immensely. I soaked them, and while they're soaking, I started chopping up my vegetables like onions and a little bit of pepper, bell pepper, and I had some carrot in the refrigerator. I said, you know what? I'm going to put that in there, to spark up the color a little bit. And I sauteed, that in the pan, took the peas out from soaking, put them in with the vegetables with some water. And, everyone has their own way of cooking. If you have something left over in your refrigerator, you think, add something to it, throw it in there. And that's what I did. After it had been cooking for about a half an hour, I threw the okra, just 6. I just threw a few in, not a lot, just to give it a little pizzazz,
Right.
And it came out delicious. I put garlic powder, I put pepper, I put a little hot sauce, and it's fabulous, absolutely fabulous.
How long did you soak the black eyed peas for?
Not that long. As long as you do it for about an hour or two. Some people like to soak overnight, but I did it for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. Just enough time for me to start prepping everything else.
Wow.
And then I, dumped the water in there and started them to simmering.
I asked you about Hoppin' John because I love Hoppin' John.
Well, the thing with Hoppin' John, it's the same black eyed peas,
right?
Which some cultures use for a New Year's Day or New Year's Eve meal. But you have rice, which is usually plain white rice with this fabulous black eyed pea stew,
and a ham hock too, right? A ham hock.
Well, ham hock is a staple in a certain way of cooking, and what I have been doing with the the way I have been preparing food is trying to find alternatives and use things that are more plant-based for that kind of thing. Like I have a scallop dish which is actually made from king oyster mushroom stems. It tastes like a scallop when you cook it.
Wow.
And also using big mushrooms. Like right now, as we are speaking, I am marinating these huge portobello mushrooms so that I can get a steak feeling from them.
Yeah.
What's the name of the plant-based scallop?
It's a king oyster mushroom.
King
Where do you get these?
At most stores, most supermarkets would have them. You know, like a Food Bazaar or Whole Foods.
Right.
But they're big, and you slice the stem to like the size of a scallop, and it is fantastic, absolutely fantastic.
Now with the stew, I have a quick question because I can't have pepper, so you can excuse me, you can put in any vegetable to make a stew.
Absolutely, you could put in celery instead of the pepper. And that's what I mean about that's what I liked about watching my mother cook, because she really didn't measure things. She cooked by spirit. And that's what I told one of my high school pals who asked about the recipe. I said, there's really no recipe. I cook by spirit. I cook by being moved by what I think is going to look beautiful on the plate, what's going to be a party in my mouth. What am I going to enjoy? And
what are the Cuomo brothers gonna enjoy?
Oh, yeah, we never got to that.
Well, no. I'm saying she she said something about putting something in her mouth to give her joy.
Oh,
and she said she was going to be double teamed.
All right, back to the jizz again. All right. Of
course, we're back to the jizz. Come on. So we have a question. This is a great question, ladies. You want to do female comics get heckled as often as male comics? Ladies.
No. Female comics don't get heckled as often as male comics because we're funnier.
I like the way you think. Having been in both worlds, I don't get heckled. I rarely ever get heckled.
I have been very fortunate that I have had great audiences. You know, I toured with Anita Baker and Diana Ross and opened for Aretha Franklin. I mean, having those kinds of audiences at places like Radio City Music Hall or at a huge amphitheater in Boston, the Boston Commons, I have not had anyone heckling me except for that one time in North Carolina when Anita Baker was an hour late for the show. And once they knew she was coming to the show, they put me on to open, and a whole room full of people just started yelling, "You're not Anita! You're not Anita! You're not Anita!"
Wow. I mean, it's interesting because I don't know if I think comics just get heckled. It doesn't really matter male or female. I don't know whether or not we get heckled more. It also depends on the room. It depends on the audience. I mean, I used to do a lot of one-nighters, like shitty one-nighters all over the country, and you're more apt to be heckled in those places because they're not paying a cover charge and they're drunk and they're like, the fuck is that woman doing on stage, like that type of shit. But I don't think so. I think it's going to be an interesting time when we come back from all this. Like if all that stuff changes, do you know what I mean? Like
I think audiences have been genetically imprinted now not to heckle. I mean, the early audiences when we started, back in the day when there were no rules established yet, it was like the Wild West of comedy. Everybody would just do whatever the fuck they felt like, But
people who come there, they really want to laugh, they want an experience, they want to possibly see Dave Chappelle walk in as a guest, and what I find frequently is that the heckler has some kind of psychological thing, maybe even combined with the alcohol, where they feel like they need to be the show, they need to be part of the show. And it's a sad thing, and when we're in the room, especially when comics are in the back of the room, and somebody feels the need to be in the show, in a bad way, in a destructive way. We love to see a comic just eviscerate them and break them down and make them shut up.
Yeah, and a
Because
good
these
comic will
people
be able to
don't
come back from that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But people don't realize that sometimes you are working on a chunk for a TV set or a special or to audition for a television show, and you're trying to find your flow and your timing, and that kind of interference while you're thinking, oh, I'm part of the show, everybody's looking at me, you're screwing around with our creativity and possibly with our getting a job.
Well, what I always, you know, there's two things. Like you both have been in the business long enough that back in the day, the club owners, Julius heard the story. The club, the bouncers will always, they would be like, well, just, you know, give us a sign or give us a safe word when you're on stage, and we know to get rid of somebody. And I said, you know what my safe word is? Get them the fuck out of the room. Period.
Really?
Do you know what I mean? Like, that's it. Just get them out of the room. And the other thing I would do that, and it's only happened, you know, because I really I enjoy getting into it with hecklers. And I remember one time that there was I don't remember what it was, but I basically stopped the show, and I stood, you know, I right to the person. I said, okay, you know, there's 100 people here that have paid money to come see me. You're ruining the experience for these people who have paid. Shut the fuck up. And the audience turned on him and went, get out, shut up. I mean, they really became protective of me.
Yeah, I had that happen. I don't know if I told the story on this show or not, but I had a little person heckle me once. Did I tell you this story?
Well, Rhonda hasn't heard it, so tell it again.
I'm doing this club, right? And this little person is sitting in the front. He's drunk. He's really drunk, and he's belligerent, like from get-go. And all through my set, he's just heckling me, wouldn't leave me alone. I try to be polite because I don't want to, you know, the guy's life is probably hard enough as it is. I don't want to bother him, you know, but stop, right? I was politely trying to. Finally, I couldn't. He said something. I just couldn't stand it anymore. And I just looked at him. I said, do me a favor, click your heels together 3 times and get the fuck out of here. I still feel bad about it, but you know what?
Julia, don't feel bad. They make you go there. They make you go
He did make me go there.
They do. They do.
You know, Julia, you were talking about your allergies earlier. It's really bad now. Yesterday I had, when I woke up, I'm still working on it now. My eye was the lower lid was swollen like a Macy's Day balloon.
Did you get a fever? Do you get a fever too sometimes?
No fever. It's hay fever. It's a hay fever. All kinds of different reactions. You know, sometimes it's sneezing. Sometimes it's a thing in the throat.
Yeah.
But the allergies are really acting up. And I hate that when there's a pandemic because, like you said, everything makes you feel like, do I have COVID-19?
Well, I called my neighbors, like my neighbor up the street, and I said, look, I don't know if I got it, if I'm going to die. If I die, that's fine. Just take my cat. Watch my cat. And, it's, you think at our age, well, my age, I don't know how old you all are, but you get scared of everything.
Oh, yeah. I actually had that really close call several weeks ago when I got dehydrated and I didn't know what was happening.
Right. Yeah. And when you were on Fugelsang show.
I actually felt like I was going to die. And I was trying to do his show, and that same day I had done a coaching session with a friend of mine, and during the session I'm just sitting there on a Zoom session, and I'm dizzy, and I wasn't eating, I had never had any kind of experience with dehydration like that, but it was absolutely frightening to the point where I couldn't even move to do anything, and. I'm in the demographic where I have to take care of myself. And I'm very
Let me ask you ladies something. When you go to the supermarket, do you look longingly as you pass the Ensure rack where the Ensure? I like, should I try it?
I don't look at the Ensure, but I'll tell you that 7 to 8 a.m. is like senior happy hour at the food bazaar.
Yeah.
Hysterical. That's so
incredible. Guys are still trying to flirt
women. Yeah.
with the mask on and standing 6 feet away, I feel like I'm in Mummenschanz, you know? And
It's so funny when you're talking about dehydration. So another time when we did a tour, I went to the Middle East, I think 3 times and everything. And so we would always go to the Middle East in August. Smart. And I just remember one of the soldiers sat me down and said, "Ma'am, listen, you look very pale." And I'm like, I'm fine. And he goes, no, I'm going to get you some Gatorade. And I go, I don't like Gatorade. And he goes, sit down. And I was like, yes. I mean, the guy was 12. You know, the soldiers are so young. But thank God they did that, because I drank the Gatorade and he was right. I must have been dehydrated and I didn't even know it.
Well, and that's the crazy thing. You don't even realize that.
Yeah.
And Nancy Lombardo talked me through it, getting me, back on. She knew right away what it was. And as soon as I drank some apple juice, I felt better immediately. It was like being on death's door and being, I'm okay now. I don't think I'll die today.
It's like hypoxia.
What is that?
What is that?
Hypoxia is when you're flying in a plane. You're up high where you need oxygen, and it's not coming through. You're getting carbon monoxide, I think, or dioxide. It's just you're not getting any air. And people get a little stunad, and they until they finally just die, and I don't even know they died. I would know if I died.
You would know if you.
I think I would. Anyway.
Wow! You'd know if you died. Yeah, I would hope so.
We have standing signals in my senior development where certain people, we have like a blind, like if it's down and it's 10 o'clock in the morning. Then call the cops.
You gotta go check.
Wow.
You gotta go check them. Yeah. I found my neighbor.
If your neighbor is a black person, don't call the cops. That could be a death sentence for that person.
Well, no, she's dead. I mean, I would call. I don't want.
Oh well. You're right. She's already dead. So call. They'll tase the body anyway, just to stay in practice.
Take target practice, yeah.
All right, ladies, I hate to tell you this, but we got to start to wrap up, man.
I didn't even.
She never said which Cuomo. Which Cuomo?
No, she said she wanted to be double teamed by Cuomo. See,
that's right.
You're having a senior moment, Julia.
I'm sorry.
Cauliflower steak with the avocado sauce. We'll have to do that some other time.
And the cauliflower too.
Yeah, Rhonda, I know you're posting the pictures, but Julia was so funny. She emailed me before the show and she goes, "Is there any way we could post the recipe on the show?" And I'm like, this isn't the fucking Today Show. I can barely get this show on the internet. So is there somewhere that they can get the actual recipes, or is it basically, like you said, you don't really follow a recipe, you just kind of do whatever?
Yes, if they will go to Rhonda Handsome Comedy on Facebook, Rhonda Handsome Comedy on Facebook, or on Twitter, or Rhonda Full on IG, and ask for it. They and send me a couple of bucks on PayPal, and I'll send it to them. I'll actually do it. My PayPal handle is right there. Yeah. And because I love the cooking, I love the presentation, and I'll be happy to share my philosophy. It's not exactly the recipe, it's a philosophy around cooking and enjoying food and sharing it with people.
It's a falafel.
It's a falafel. Julia, we want to plug. Let's plug your CD again.
Yes, I'll plug my CD in a second. I just want to put out, you and I, Carol, we're on a mission. I've mentioned this before, to get Hoda on the show.
Yes,
right? We are throwing this out to Hoda, even if she's in Hanoi or Tierra del Fuego. We want you on the show. And lady, our audience, you should shower her with emails
with comments saying, you had these fabulous ladies on the Today Show. Literally, I mean, it still blows me away.
I tagged Hoda in my post.
Yes, you did.
Where'd you have her?
I tagged her on my post about doing your show. I said, "Come on, Hoda." Yeah.
I mean,
we saw that. Yeah.
We did the Today Show, that, which, by the way, feels like it was 25 years ago, doesn't it? And she was so wonderful and everything, and we would love to have her on.
She's a lot of fun. She
She'd
would.
be a lot.
Like a-
Anybody, if there's any major celebrity that hears about this, just reach out to me or Julia. And next week we have Wendy Liebman.
oh, how
Mhm.
nice. Oh,
You
my
know, and I'm going to have some of the other cast members from the both shows from the TV show coming on. We're just trying to figure it out because at this point, I started the show basically as a way to make sure I didn't go crazy. But now it's kind of taking off, and people really enjoy it. And we have a lot of regular people coming to watch it and everything. So we're just going to keep doing it, even when lockdown is over, which is never happening. By the way, you know that New York is. We're never getting out of lockdown. Look at Julia.
Da, 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 da.
But anyway, Julia has a fabulous
Oh yeah.
CD. Do you have it to show?
Wait a minute. Wait. Don't go anywhere.
Okay,
But wait, there's more.
hold
Wait,
on.
here it is. Hello, boy. Hello. Where is that? I can't get it in the frame.
There it
Hello,
is.
boys. I'm back.
And
Hello.
hold on. Now we're going to do plugging. I'm gonna plug my little thing. If anybody wants this, and this is very environmental. The Funny Women of a Certain Age tote bag.
Yeah.
Oh, I keep all my CDs in there.
Yeah, I mean, I use them all the time. We and we're starting a new. I think I'm not sure. Yeah, I think I put you on the email for that, Rhonda. If I did it about the little videos, did I put you on that? Okay. The next thing I'm trying to do is little videos of all the girls from Funny Women of a Certain Age, both live and the TV show. Because
I'm in.
good, because we want to keep doing this, and as soon as we get back, because I was on the phone today with the Crane and what they're doing. We want you all to come and see, because we need laughter so much right now. And I want to
out at the Crane, aren't they?
huh?
They're pulling the seats out at the
Yes.
Crane for
Yes.
social distancing.
Are they really? Oh, wow.
Yeah, we're
No excuse not to come and see us.
right, exactly. So we're trying to get back. I don't think we'll be back before sometime in the summer, but please follow these fabulous ladies, Julia Scotti and Rhonda Handsome. They are good friends, old friends, funny as shit, and I love you both. And be safe.
I love you. Thank you so much, Carol. Thank you, Julia. This has been so much fun, and I want to thank all my friends who tuned in, because I was like pushing this like a
Thank you.
Thank
tunnel
you.
bunny, like a tunnel bunny. I was pushing.
Okay, thanks everybody. Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.